I was sitting in Mason's cafe with my new wife and my teenage stepdaughter when a stranger walked over, set a small blue velvet box on our table, and said 5 words that would save our lives. "You're going to need this tonight." Then he turned and walked away. No introduction. No explanation. No time to ask a single question. By the time my brain caught up and I half rose from my seat, he was already pushing through the front door, swallowed by the lunchtime crowd and the glare from the street. That box sat between my coffee and Emma's half-eaten sandwich like a live grenade. I didn't know it yet, but inside that box was proof of a plan so sick and so carefully constructed that if I hadn't opened it exactly when I did, I'd be dead. Emma would still be living with a monster, and the woman I'd just married would be planning husband number 5. My name is David Harrison. I'm 42. 3 months ago, I married the woman I honestly believed was my second chance at a good life. Her name is Rebecca Foster. Rebecca was everything I thought I wanted wrapped into one person. Sharp, funny, put together. She worked as a pharmaceutical sales rep and seemed to thrive off pressure. She could talk to anyone, anywhere, make them feel seen. She was one of those people who walked into a room and made it feel brighter. And then there was Emma, her 14-year-old daughter from her first marriage. From the beginning, Emma was respectful but a little wary, which made sense. Teenagers don't usually line up to welcome a new stepdad. But over time, she started opening up. We'd watch stupid movies together, I helped with homework, went to her school open house, listened to her talk about friends and drama and dreams. After my own marriage had ended 5 years earlier in a drawn-out, ugly divorce, I'd honestly thought I was done. I'd thrown myself into my accounting firm, told myself I didn't need a family again. Then Rebecca happened. Lunch that day at Mason's was supposed to be normal. Emma had just made the high school volleyball team. Rebecca said, "We should celebrate. Just us," and suggested we grab something quick before I headed back to the office. We sat at a corner table by the window. Emma was animated, showing us the team group chat on her phone, talking about tryouts and knee pads and bus rides. Rebecca teased her gently. It felt like the life you see in commercials. Safe. Unremarkable. Exactly what I thought I wanted. Halfway through, Rebecca and Emma both got up to use the restroom. I was alone at the table when he appeared. He looked like he could have been anybody's grandfather. Late 60s, maybe gray hair, clean-shaven. A well-cut gray suit, nothing flashy. No visible urgency, no wild eyes, nothing that screamed danger. He walked straight to my table. Not to the counter. Not to the next booth. To me. He set a small blue velvet jewelry box down next to my plate. His eyes met mine, calm, unwavering. "You're going to need this tonight, David," he said quietly. "Open it when you're alone. And whatever you do, don't let Rebecca see it." He turned and walked away. My mouth was already open with a "wait, what?" but he was gone. By the time I pushed my chair back to stand, he was out the door. The entire exchange took maybe 10 seconds. The box felt like it was radiating heat. I glanced toward the back of the cafe. Rebecca and Emma were already on their way back, laughing together about something. Every instinct I had was screaming. Confront the guy. Open the box now. Show Rebecca. Demand an explanation. But something about his tone, flat, certain, the way he'd said her name, froze me. I slipped the box into my messenger bag, just before they reached the table. "Everything okay?" Rebecca asked, sliding back into her chair. Her eyes tracked my face the way they always did when she sensed even the slightest change in my mood. "Yeah, I lied. Just got an email from a client. Might have to juggle some things later." Emma was already back to texting, thumbs flying. Rebecca squeezed my hand, said something about dessert. I nodded along, feeling that small, soft box like a brick inside my bag. If you're still here listening and already trying to guess what was inside that box, hit subscribe and drop your guess in the comments. You're not going to believe how deep this goes. The rest of lunch blurred. I kept one hand on my bag, fingers pressing into the shape of the box now and then through the fabric, as if touching it would somehow make sense of it. "David," Rebecca said at one point, tilting her head. "You're a million miles away. Are you sure everything's fine?" "Just thinking through that client issue," I said smoothly. Lying got easier every time I did it. "I might have to work late tonight to fix it." Something flickered across her face. Disappointment, maybe, or irritation, but it was gone so fast I couldn't catch it. I was hoping we could all have dinner, she said. Emma's been excited to show you her volleyball schedule. It's okay, Mom, Emma said without looking up. David has work stuff. We can do it tomorrow. There was a tone in her voice I didn't like. Not angry. Not hurt. Just used to it. Used to plans changing. Adults disappearing. Actually, I heard myself say, I can push the work until tomorrow morning. Let's do dinner. Rebecca's smile came back, bright and warm. Perfect. I'll make my special pasta. Emma, you're on salad duty. We paid, said our goodbyes outside. Rebecca and Emma walked to their car parked on the street while I cut around the corner to the lot behind the cafe. As soon as I sat in my car, I pulled out my phone. I called my business partner, Mitchell. Mitch, can you cover my afternoon appointments? I asked as soon as he picked up. Something unexpected came up. He was quiet for a second. You sound weird, he said. Everything okay? I don't know yet, I said truthfully. I'll fill you in if it turns into something real. I drove to my apartment. Yes, my apartment. I'd kept it even after the wedding because we were supposed to be house hunting together, and mine was close to the office. At first it had just been convenient. Right then it felt like a bunker. There were pictures of Rebecca meeting men in hotel lobbies. One guy outside a bank. Another at a park. A few of them I recognized vaguely from stories she'd told me about friends from pharma. There were bank statements tracing transfers from joint accounts into a series of quiet offshore accounts under variations of her maiden name. Emails about life insurance policies. On Gregory. Some of them were drafts she'd never sent, maybe hacked from her laptop. Others were confirmation messages from insurance companies. A brittle, hollow feeling began spreading in my chest. I opened the third folder. Previous. It hit me like a punch. 2 separate case files. Nathan Carver, deceased 2008, house fire, manner of death, accidental. Next to it, a scan of an insurance payout to Rebecca, $500,000. Thomas Brennan, deceased 2012, fall downstairs, manner of death, accidental. Insurance payout, $750,000. Police investigation summaries were attached to each. Both closed. Both chalked up to tragedy. Then came Gregory's file. Car accident, 2022. Vehicle over guardrail. Body unrecovered. Declared presumed dead after search. Insurance payout to Rebecca, $1.2 million. Below that was a scan of a death certificate for Gregory Foster, dated 6 months ago. Attached was a sticky note in the same careful handwriting as the letter. This certificate is fake. I staged my death to escape before Rebecca could make it real. The authorities accepted it. Rebecca believes I'm gone. I can never let her find out I'm alive, or she'll use Emma to get to me. If you're reading this, David, it means she moved on. To you. I sat back. If any of this was genuine, if even half of it was, then the woman I'd married wasn't a grieving widow. She was something else. And according to Gregory, I was next on her list. I checked the time. 2:47 p.m. If he was right about 6 hours. That put my accident somewhere around 8:45. Right in the middle of our little family dinner. My phone vibrated on the table, making me jump. Rebecca? Hey, honey, she said when I answered. Her tone was soft, domestic. I could hear a checkout scanner beeping in the background. I'm at the store grabbing stuff for dinner. Do you want the regular pasta or that whole wheat you like? I swallowed. Regular's fine, I said, forcing my voice not to crack. Perfect, she said. I'm really happy we're doing this tonight. Just the 3 of us. It's starting to feel like we're really a family, you know? Yeah, I said, my eyes flicking back to the screen full of her files. Yeah, it does. Don't be late, she added lightly. 6:30 sharp. Love you. Love you too, I said automatically, hanging up. The word felt sour in my mouth. I stared at Gregory's phone number at the bottom of the note for a long second. Then I dialed. It rang 4 times. You opened the box, a man's voice said finally. Not a question. Gregory? I asked. It used to be, he said. These days I try not to use that name too much. But yes. I'm the one who left you the box. I looked back at the files. I saw enough, I said. If even half of this is true. All of it is true, he cut in. Rebecca is who those folders say she is. And if she's in perfect wife mode, you have less time than you think. Why didn't you go to the cops? I demanded. With all this. He gave a short, humorless laugh. I did, he said. More than once. They saw what she wanted them to see. She's careful. Very careful. Never touches the actual weapon. Never does anything that can't be passed off as bad wiring or old wood or brake failure. It's always an accident on paper. He went quiet for a beat. You think you know her because you've seen her cry, because she loves Emma, because she makes you dinner, he added. I thought the same. How do you know she's planning something tonight? I asked. How can you be that specific? Because I've been watching her, he said flatly. For 2 years. From a distance. I knew she'd go hunting again. I didn't know who for. 6 months ago I saw you. I saw her with you. Same routine. Same steps. So why didn't you warn me then? I snapped. Why wait until there are 6 hours left? If a ghost called you half a year ago and said, your new girlfriend is a murderer, what would you have done? He asked quietly. Tell Rebecca? Confront her? Ask her. I didn't answer. I had to wait until she was fully committed, he continued. She's been laying the groundwork for tonight. The insurance, the home, the narrative. Once that kind of machinery is moving, she doesn't like to stop it. It's her blind spot. What's the plan? I asked, my throat dry. He exhaled slowly. She won't push you in front of a bus, he said. That's messy. Too many eyes. She'll do what she did with Thomas. Do you ever go down to Rebecca's basement? Once, I said slowly. To move some boxes. The stairs are steep. Old wood. They're not just old now, he said. I guarantee you at least one step has been weakened. Maybe more. Tonight, at some point during dinner, she'll mention a leak. Or a fuse. Maybe she'll ask you to grab a bottle of wine from the basement rack. And I'll fall down the stairs, I finished. He didn't say anything. How do we stop her? I asked. I left you a key, he said. Storage unit on Highland. In there is everything I've prepared over 2 years. Cameras. Audio. Legal pads full of notes. You're going to go there now. You're going to learn how to use the equipment. Then you're going to go to dinner. Dinner? I repeated. You're not going to cancel, he said. You're going to go. You're going to get her talking. And you're going to record it all. She'll never confess, I said. She's too smart. She's smarter than most, he agreed. But she has an Achilles heel, her ego. She wants to be the mastermind. If you confront her with enough detail that she realizes the game is up, she will want you to understand how good she is. That's when she talks. That's when we get her. And if she realizes what I'm doing? I asked. If she sees the camera? Or if she just goes off script? Then you run, he said. And you get Emma away with you if you can. Because if Rebecca thinks she's cornered, she won't wait for the perfect accident. She'll improvise. His voice dropped. And improv is when people like her are most dangerous. The storage facility was cold and smelled like dust and metal. Inside Unit 237, Gregory had created his own little war room. A folding table held a laptop, a tangle of wires, tiny cameras, and audio devices. There were boxes of documents, all organized into binders, timelines, insurance policies, medical notes. He'd built a case stronger than any true crime show I'd ever seen. He walked me through the equipment over the phone. Camera is built into the center button on your shirt, he said. Lens is microscopic. Most people won't get within 4 inches of your chest. Audio recorder looks like a regular pen. Keep it in your breast pocket. Everything transmits here. I tested the feed with my phone on speaker. Good, Gregory said when my face popped up on his screen. I'll be in my car down the street from her house. If anything goes sideways, I'm 30 seconds away. He sounded calm. I wasn't. As I buttoned the shirt with the camera and slipped the fake pen into my pocket, I added my own layer of protection. I pulled out my phone, went into settings, and set up a timer-based emergency call. If I didn't tap cancel within 2 hours, it would automatically dial 911 on speaker. Maybe it was overkill. But looking at everything Gregory had gathered, overkill didn't feel like a real word anymore. It felt like survival. At 6:15, I pulled up to Rebecca's house. The same house where we'd had brunches, movie nights, and birthday celebrations. Now it looked different. Too sharp around the edges. Rebecca answered the door with her usual easy smile. Right on time, she said, kissing me lightly. Her lips felt cold. Emma's upstairs finishing homework. Dinner's almost ready. The house smelled like garlic and tomatoes, toasted bread. Warm. Inviting. Like every cozy family dinner you've ever seen in a commercial. Except there was a camera in my shirt, a recorder in my pocket, and a dead man in a car outside listening in real time. Can I help with anything? I asked, following her into the kitchen. You could open the wine, she said. There's a bottle of that Chianti you like down in the basement rack. There it was. We'd been inside her house 60 seconds. I'm not really feeling wine tonight, I said. Long day. Just water for me. Her smile didn't fade, but something tiny shifted in her eyes. That's fine, she said easily. There's sparkling water in the fridge downstairs if you want that instead. I'm good with tap, I said, filling a glass from the kitchen sink. She watched me drink. For a moment, the air felt thick. Calculations were happening behind her eyes. Adjustments. Emma came down a few minutes later, saving us both from whatever she was about to try next. Hey, David, she said, dropping her notebook on the counter. She gave me a quick hug, which, for a 14-year-old, still felt like a small miracle. We set the table together. I focused on the normal tasks, letting my heart rate drop. During dinner, I tried to see Rebecca clearly for the first time. Not as my wife. Not as Emma's mom. As a person. She was performing. I'd probably always known that on some level. The way she laughed in just the right places. The way she touched my arm at exactly the right moment. The way she asked Emma about school with the exact amount of concern to sound caring but not controlling. She was very, very good at it. David, seriously, she said at one point, leaning her head slightly. You've been weird all day. Are you sure that client thing isn't more serious than you said? You look like you're chewing on something. I put my fork down. Actually, I said, there is something we need to talk about. Emma's shoulders tensed. Is this, are you two okay? She asked. Because last time my mom said she needed to talk, my whole life changed. Rebecca gave her a gentle look. Honey, why don't you go upstairs? She suggested. This is adult stuff. No, I said. Both of them looked at me. Emma should stay, I continued. She deserves to hear this. It affects her too. Rebecca's expression smoothed into something neutral. David, she said slowly, now is not the time. I know about Gregory, I said. The room seemed to swallow the words. I know he's alive. Emma blinked. What? She whispered. My dad is dead. He? No, sweetheart, I said, looking at her. He's been alive this whole time. He faked his death. To get away. The kitchen went dead silent. Rebecca stood up very slowly. David, she said, voice perfectly calm. You're not well. You're saying things that don't make sense. Maybe you should go home and rest. We can. I know about Nathan, I cut in. The fire. I know about Thomas and the fall down the stairs. I know about the insurance payouts. I know Gregory's accident was staged. And I know that tonight I was supposed to be the fourth. Emma's chair scraped back. Mom, she said. What is he talking about? Rebecca didn't look at her daughter. Her eyes were on me now. The softness was gone. What was left was flat. Assessing. How did you learn all of that? She asked. Not it isn't true. How? It doesn't matter, I said. It matters to me, she said, a strange brightness coming into her eyes. I am very, very careful. If someone got close enough to tell you any of this, I want to know how. Gregory left me a box, I said. With files. With your medical records. With private investigator reports. With bank statements. With notes. Her lips curled slightly. Gregory, she said. Of course. I underestimated him. Again. Emma stared at her. So it's true, she whispered. You tried to kill Dad? For the first time, Rebecca looked at her daughter. Oh, Emma, she said, and there was something almost like pity in her voice. You are so sweet. So trusting. It's one of the things I love most about you. She shifted her gaze back to me. And one of the things that makes you so easy to use. Emma's hand flew to her mouth. My phone, tucked in my pocket, vibrated once. The emergency timer was counting down. I had 15 minutes until it dialed 911. I know about the brake lines, Rebecca, I said. On the mountain road. I know he found the damage before he left. I know he disappeared before you could try again. She laughed softly. It was elegant, she said. Old car. Worn brakes. A twisty road. It would have been textbook. Mechanical failure. No one's fault. They never would have looked at me. Except he saw it, I said. Except he saw it, she agreed. I should have made sure. I got lazy. But the insurance company paid out anyway once the waiting period for missing persons expired. So, in the end, it was fine. Emma shook her head, tears starting to spill. This is insane, I said. You're confessing in front of your own daughter. I'm explaining, she said calmly. There's a difference. And I'm done hiding who I am from people who might actually appreciate the architecture of what I've built. She tilted her head, studying me. Do you know how much money I've made? She asked. Almost $3 million. All tax-free. 3 tragic accidents. 3 devastated wives left behind. And you, she added, would have been the most lucrative yet. Clean life insurance. No kids to complicate the estate. Emma choked back a sob. Mom, please stop, she whispered. This isn't funny. Oh, honey, Rebecca said. I'm not joking. If David hadn't poked around where he shouldn't have, you never would have known. You'd have stayed my perfect little girl, and I'd have stayed your perfect mother. All neat and tidy. She sighed, almost wistfully. But now he's ruined that, she said. And that means we're off script. My phone vibrated again. I pulled it out, hit the emergency call just before the timer finished, and set it on the table. 911, what's your emergency? A dispatcher's voice came through. This is David Harrison, I said, not breaking eye contact with Rebecca. I'm at 4725 Burwood. The homeowner has just confessed to multiple murders and attempted murder. We need police here now. Rebecca's eyes flashed. She lunged. But Emma moved faster than I would have believed possible. She grabbed her mother's arm and dug in, holding her back with both hands. No, Emma sobbed. No more? You don't get to hurt anybody else. Sirens wailed in the distance. Gregory must have already been on with the police too. Within minutes, red and blue lights painted the walls of the kitchen. Officers flooded through the front door. Rebecca immediately pointed at me, launching into a wild story about me being delusional, about some crazy vendetta, about how I'd fabricated everything. But the thing about lies is, they don't stack well against hard evidence. Gregory stepped into the doorway a few minutes later like someone had opened a portal. Emma saw him and went utterly still. Then she ran. Dad, she sobbed, slamming into his chest. He wrapped his arms around her and held on like he was afraid she'd disappear. Even the cops looked away. I just stood there, my legs suddenly weak, watching what this had all been about from the beginning. Not revenge. Not money. Just a father trying to keep his daughter alive. The aftermath was messy. The investigation dug up even more than Gregory had managed to collect. It turned out Rebecca Foster had not always been Rebecca Foster. There were traces of a Rebecca Mitchell in another state. 20 years earlier, a boyfriend in college had fallen from a balcony at a party. Ruled accidental. Now back under a microscope. The DA stacked charges. Multiple counts of homicide, insurance fraud, attempted murder, mine, and a list of related crimes long enough to fill a page. Rebecca's lawyers tried everything. Claimed the recordings were doctored. That Gregory had framed her, that I'd been manipulated. But the combination... She was completely shattered at first. Her mother had been her whole world. It was like losing a parent twice in one night, the illusion and the person. She got therapy. Gregory never missed a session. He never blamed her. He told her again and again, "You didn't cause this. You didn't know." She fooled everyone. As for me, I sold my share of the firm, packed up my apartment, moved several states away, started over again. I still wake up some nights feeling like I'm falling down a dark set of stairs. In my dreams, it's always the same. Rebecca calling my name, me turning, my foot hitting a weak board, the rush of air. Then I wake up in a new bed, in a new city, with no one in the house but me. And I remind myself, I'm alive. Because a dead man walked into a cafe and put a velvet box on my table. Sometimes I think about how thin the line was. If I'd brushed the guy off. If I'd shown Rebecca the box. If I'd decided it was some weird scam and thrown it away. We'd have had pasta that night. She'd have sent me down to grab a bottle. Emma would have been upstairs with her headphones on. And within a week, there would have been a GoFundMe link in everyone's inbox with words like tragic and sudden and loving husband. Rebecca would have cried at my funeral. Emma would have hugged her, thinking her mother's grief was real. And that would have been it. My story ending with broken bones at the bottom of a staircase. Most of Rebecca's other victims never got a warning. They never saw her clearly. They died thinking life had just gone wrong. If there's anything I learned from all of this, it's this. You don't really know people. You know the version of themselves they choose to hand you. Rebecca handed me a picture of a kind wife, a devoted mom, a woman rebuilding her life after tragedy. Underneath, she was treating me like a policy number. A payout waiting to be claimed. These days, I'm cautious. Maybe too cautious. I don't date. I keep people at arm's length. I notice red flags like they're on fire. Some people tell me I'm letting what she did poison my future. Maybe they're right. But I'm alive to argue about it. And Nathan and Thomas and that college boyfriend? They're not. If this story made you think twice about trust, or about the masks people wear, hit like and share it with someone who might need the reminder. Tell me in the comments what you think you would have done if a stranger handed you that blue box. And if you want more real stories about ordinary people discovering terrifying truths in the middle of their normal lives, make sure you're subscribed. Because yes, everyone wears masks. Some people just never take them off. And sometimes, the only thing between you and becoming someone else's tragic accident is a warning you never expected, from a man the world thinks is already dead.